Are you ready to retire? Who doesn't want to retire? But what happens if possibly the amount of money you have isn't quite enough? Maybe you've met with a financial planner, or maybe you have run some scenarios yourself and you say, I don't quite know if this is going to work. Well, that's what I want to talk about today, how you can make it work. There are different variables that will come into play, and sometimes it may work for one person and not another. Your scenario is totally different than the person sitting right beside you, if somebody's beside you. But no, let's take a look and let's really start to think through this, because I want to just give you some ideas. So if we go into Nest Egg, it's the financial planning software we use here, working with clients at Jazz Wealth. If we go in here, we're going to look at Retired Roger. Retired Roger is going to get $1,800 a year, and if he takes it at full retirement age, but he's planning on taking his retirement, his Social Security at 70. Now, at 70 is one that a lot of people say, well, hey, if you're cutting it short in retirement, take your Social Security later because it's going to pay even more and provide more for you long term. So let's see if that works for Retired Roger. Going back over here, he's going to have $2,600 a month in just general expenses, $6,145 in healthcare expenses. That's based on a national average there. So that's what we're looking at for him. So about $3,100 in expenses with that. And then he does have $2,000 in property tax, $1,200 in insurance. He owns his house outright. And he's got $400,000 in a 401k that he's trying to figure out what's he going to do with that. So he's 61, plans to retire at 62. And his net worth's up there. He's got quite a bit of money. And the one issue that I see here is, with all of what he's got is, okay, how is he invested, number one? When should he take Social Security, number two? He's got quite a bit of assets, but part of that's locked up in real estate is one. So those are all things and variables that we want to look at. Well, to mention his investments, currently he's at 60-40. Don't focus too much on the target allocation. We can actually change that just to match. So his breakdown 60-40. A lot of people are like that closer to retirement. They want to be a little bit more conservative. And so let's take a look at Roger and see how he's doing. Is he going to make it through retirement per the Monte Carlo analysis? Now, if you've watched the videos before, I've told you that there's a Monte Carlo that runs 1,000 scenarios. It's a lot more conservative than if you just go to a cash flow analysis. A cash flow is going to just say, well, guess what? Roger's going to spend a little bit each year. On a cash flow, it looks like he's going to have $109,000 left at the end of the plan. But the cash flow also says, well, Roger's going to get a certain set amount of money or return on his investments every year. So if he gets a 6.5% return every single year, that's what the cash flow looks at. The Monte Carlo looks different at this. It says, hey, you've got 1,000 scenarios that we're running, and we're going to say, really, the world's best market, the world's worst, and everything in between. Let's find a median line here. And what it's basically saying is there's a 49% probability that Roger's going to have $0. He could have more money, but possibly, probably not. So as a planner, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, Roger, doesn't look good for you. Everybody can say, well, you know what, work more, work many more years. You should have saved more. In his scenario, I mean, he's saved up. He's got $400,000. It's not like it's a couple pennies. He's got a house that's appreciated. Just chatted with somebody the other day, and they've got a house out in California. I can't think they bought it like $350,000. It's worth like $1.5 million. Just, a house appreciation, depending on where you are when you bought it. The younger people, good luck. It's tough out there. But for somebody like Roger, he's got a nice nest egg just in the house. So let's take a look. Let's see what we can do to make this work for Roger. So current allocation, he's moderate. Let's say that he goes with growth. A little bit more risk is going to come into play, but is it worth it? Is it not? Well, right here, that bumps him up 6%. Now he has 55% probability that he's going to have $83,000 at the end of the plan, at the end of life. And so that itself is a nice little boost, but it does come with a little bit of added risk. And you've got to remember that with this scenario. So now let's say, okay, well, guess what? He's wanting to take Social Security there. Let's go back and just do apples to apples. Let's say he's taking Social Security at 70 because that's what everybody says to do if you're running short on cash in retirement. Make sure you delay your Social Security. Well, he's living till 90 in the plan. Forgot to mention that. So let's just say that he takes it at full retirement age. What will that do? 51% gives him a little bit. What if he takes it as early as possible? Let's see what that's going to do, if it does anything for him. 50%. Okay, so now we're going back and we're going to say, you know what? Let's not wait until 70 to take all of your money. Let's get a little bit of money there. We also know that we could actually take a little bit of growth opportunity here, so we can invest a little bit more. That's looking a lot better. Now he's potentially got over $100,000 versus running out of money. So that's good to see. Now, what's the final thing that I'm thinking? And you're probably already thinking this. Let's go back here and let's talk. Let's talk about his property. So many people in retirement are so reluctant to ever let go of their home. And I get it. I mean, it's your home. It's the place you've probably lived for, Roger's probably lived there 30 plus years because it's paid off. But there's so much money wrapped up in this home. There's home equity lines or line of credit, HELOCs. There's the opportunity, there's all kinds of different opportunities. What's the one? Reverse mortgages. I know those are one that, it's like, oh, be careful how you say that. I guess used to there was some real bad things that happened with those. But it's an option for somebody like Roger. If he gets to the end of the plan, he's got this house. He could sell the house. You could downsize. But, I mean, in certain areas, just, trying to sell a $450,000 home, you might downsize into, something very small and be able to buy it. But maybe, he's already down. Maybe this is what he needs here. Maybe he could rent. He could sell the house. He could rent. So let's just throw the scenario in there. Now let's take a look. And let's say, you know what? Roger here, we've got everything else set in play, and we're going to say, all right, so we are going to relocate. So let's find that here as property, primary home relocation. So we're going to say, 2040. Roger's going to be getting up there in age, and so in 17 years, we're going to say that he is going to relocate. You know what? Let's just say that he's going to rent a house in 2040. His insurance is going to be, probably $200 for renter's insurance in today's dollars. And we're going to say that he's going to rent it for $2,500 a month. So it's not cheap. But let's just see what he's got there if we break this down and how this is going to impact his plan for old retired Roger. Look at that, 89% probability of success. Now, even this plan, not trying to change his retirement strategy on Social Security, not trying to change his investments, still staying a little bit more conservative. He's good. So it pays off to know your situation, get with a financial planner who's going to think outside the box and to help you to strategize what works for you. Because as I said, you're different than the person sitting next to you if you have somebody, if you don't, the person down the hall, whatever the case is. Think through it, get with a planner. I know of some people that could help you out. So if you haven't, check us out, jazzwealth.com. We would be happy to help you.